You are most welcome to this occasion when we are the most privileged to have your lecture of opportunity to be presented to these officers from the two institutions of National Leadership Institute, Chankwanzi, and Oliver Tambo Leadership School, Kaweweta. Sir, we will have a brief from the Commandant of Oliver Tambo Leadership School, Colonel Justus Rukundo, who will be followed by a brief from the Director of National Leadership Institute, Chankwanzi, who will in turn invite you to give the lecture of opportunity. Sir, to direct the program today, I'm Colonel Nelson Ahebwa, the Deputy Chief Political Commissar of the Uganda People's Defense Forces and the Staff Officer at the Secretariat of Patriotism. Sir, Your Excellency, without wasting much time, I request to invite the Commandant of Oliver Tambo Leadership School and Center of Excellence for Pan-African Studies,
the Deputy Overall Coordinator of Operation Wealth Creation, the Director, National Leadership Institute, Chankwanzi, UPDF Directors present, directing staff from both Chankwanzi and Oliver Tambo, student officers, ladies and gentlemen. Your Excellency, I am Colonel Justus Rukundo, the Commandant, Oliver Regional Tambo School of Leadership and Pan-African Center of Excellence, Kaweweta, to give you a brief about the school. Your Excellency, previously, I was the Director of Political Education and Armed Forces. While accompanying student officers on such lectures of opportunity, I used to attend your lectures of opportunity in State House. However, today, Your Excellency, this is my first time to come as Commandant of Oliver Regional Tambo School of Leadership and Pan-African Center of Excellence, and this course is my first intake. I therefore wish to thank you, Your Excellency, for entrusting me with this noble task of leading the institute, but also to pledge my best to do the assignment. Your Excellency, Oliver Regional Tambo School of Leadership and Pan-African Center of Excellence, Kaweweta, has been training militants on basic cadre development course, junior officers on political education and leadership course. Today, we train joint trainings for both police, UPDF, and prisons junior officers. However, we have plans to now start training also joint training for the lower cadres. Since its inception, the school has trained up to 12 intakes of junior political education and leadership courses, and we have also trained 12 intakes of basic cadre development course, and other identical courses we have trained over 8 intakes. We have also trained 1 intake of lawyers on patriotism training. Your Excellency, this course is called Joint Junior Political Education and Leadership Course, Intake 12 of 2022. It started on 28th February 2022 and is closing on 27th May. It comprises 154 junior officers from UPDF 97, from police 31, from prisons 26. The course is scheduled for 12 weeks, involving both theory and practicals, and it is conducted in 2 phases. Phase 1 is covered by both external facilitators and directing staffs and instructors, while phase 2 is covered by external presenters, with Your Excellency's presentation today marking the end of training. Students had a study tour in the 10th week of training. Areas visited, Your Excellency, include Kaumu Presidential Demonstration Farm, Namukekera Industrial Park, Kapeka War Memorial Site, and Kapeka Prison.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda and Commander-in-Chief of the UPDF, the Chief Political Commissar, Honorable Major General Henry Masiko, the Deputy Coordinator Operation Wealth Creation, Major General Sam Kavuma, the Commandant Oliver Tambo Leadership School, the Directing Staff Nali and Oliver Tambo, the junior and the senior officers on course, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Your Excellence, we are incredibly grateful to you for finding time off your busy schedule to give our trainees a lecture of opportunity. The last 4 intakes of senior officers missed such an opportunity due to COVID-19 pandemic. Your Excellency, the lecture, no doubt, will deepen the officers' ideological stand and concretize the 2-month package undergone at NALI. The course intake 09-2022 commenced on 20th March 2022 and ends on 20th May 2022. The course participants are 128, among them are 12 lady officers. The number includes 97 UPDFs, 18 Uganda Police Force, and 9 Uganda Prison Services. Your Excellency, NALI focuses on training knowledgeable, patriotic, and committed leaders with a transformative mind to play a critical role in Uganda's socio-economic transformation efforts.
The Deputy Commander, Operation Wealth Creation, the 2 commandants, directing staff, and students from the 2 colleges, ladies and gentlemen. Your Excellency, I won't take more of your time. I just want to add my voice to the 2 commandants who have appreciated the time you've allotted to these groups. Secondly, add my voice, Your Excellency, to the request made passionately by the commandant of Oliver Tambo School of Leadership for increased basic infrastructure. We are asking for the basics, mainly to increase our capacity to hold more students. Your Excellency, Oliver Tambo is now the purely central school of ideology for UPDF, appreciating that NALI is now national and there are many competing demands. So to maintain the tempo of ideological work in terms of producing deeply trained cadres, we need to empower Oliver Tambo as our central school of political education. So if we start on the journey to improve the accommodation and the research facilities, then Oliver Tambo will take its central role in the structures of UPDF. With those remarks, sir, I once again thank you for finding time.
The commandants of the 2 schools, the staff, and they train the students. It's good that you maintain the effort of ideological training, because it is that training that will give you answers to social problems. As the commandants said, I have written many booklets on these issues. The issue of political education is really the story of man. That's why people make so many mistakes, because they don't understand that story of man. If you read all those booklets, you'll find that I always point out that man as a species, Homo sapiens sapien, has been here for 4.5 million years, here on Earth. That is when man evolved from the lower primates. Now, once he evolved, he was a new creature. There were other creatures, plenty of them. Snakes, they were all there. But this one came with 3 new characteristics. Number 1, he had a superior brain. Now, this idea of a superior brain is confusing, because some people think that a superior brain meant a bigger brain in terms of kilograms. I don't think human beings have got a bigger brain than the elephant. I think the elephant has got a bigger brain. Did I hear there were doctors here? You said these were doctors. Who was talking about doctors? That there were doctors in the course? Huh? Oh, okay. So then the doctors can help you. But superior brain does not mean size, just weight and size. Apparently, the reasoning part of the brain is the cortex, what they call the cortex, the outer part of the brain. And apparently the human brain has got more folds. And it is those folds which make it superior by giving this new animal called man ability to think, to reason, to judge, while the other animals normally follow just instinct without reasoning. So this new animal, 4.5 million years ago, had that characteristic, a superior brain. Secondly, he was bipedal, could walk on 2 legs. And like all the other animals, many of which are either crawling on the ground, like the snakes, or quadrupedal walking on 4 legs, or brachiatas going through the trees using hands like the monkeys do in the forest. Now, this ability to walk on 2 legs apparently gives us some time to think instead of being in the grass, negotiating, trying to see where to pass. Because you are standing up, your eyes and your brain are a bit freer to think. And then finally, the hand. The human being had a hand which could hold tools and even shape tools and therefore do work. All the other animals don't really work. They eat what they find, what is provided by nature. But man, because of the three characteristics, had capacity to do work. Now, once he had those 3 characteristics, then he started his long battle. And man's battle has got two aspects. Aspect number one is battle with nature. Because all creatures face threat from nature. The snakes, the wild animals, they all get problems of nature. Rain, cold, floods, drought, disease, all those are natural phenomena which threaten creatures, living things, including man. But because of the other three characteristics, the superior brain, the bipedalism, the hand, man, as time went on, or even from the beginning, was struggling to get solutions to mitigate or ameliorate the adversities of nature. He got tools, he made stone tools, some of which are even still in use today. If you go among the Banyankore, you'll find some of the stone tools. They are still being used. Orubengo. You know Orubengo? Orubengo, in actually it is called Kidi Rego. Orubengo, it has got, this is the base stone. It has got a smaller stone. What is that called? Do we have some Banyankore here? Or some expired Banyankore, but who knows something about? What do you call the small stone? Go there on the microphone.
That small stone is called a siso.
A siso, yes.
Your Excellency, that one is called Anyakidi.
Anyakidi.
Yes, please.
Very good. Apoyo.
Thank you.
There is another one. That one is for grinding, for milling. But there is another one for crushing, like this. You hold, you crush whatever you want to crush. If there are some Banyankore, what do they call that? And what is the process? You see? I think Banyankore should be written as a former group which disappeared.
Your Excellency, I'm called Major Jacob Katom Garra. Me am Msongora, but I know somehow the words relate. Omutuanjiro.
Bacheta wata?
Omutuanjiro.
Entuanjiro?
Omuti go mutuanjiro.
That is a sentence now. We want a noun, not a sentence. This Msongara doesn't know the difference between a noun.
Your Excellency, Major Alina Toire, it's called Nenshekuru. Omhini na Nenshekuru.
Oh, please. That is off the point. To make, this is the whole thing. You need to understand the evolution of man and knowledge. Because to make a shekuro, which means a wooden mortar, and the muhini, the pounding club, by that time man has already developed. Because you know, to make a shekuro, you need to hollow, you need to chisel, to get a tree and you hollow it, and obviously you can't do it just with hands. By that time they were having tools for cutting, for what. They had already gone very far by the time of. That's why I'm still on the stone, because the stone, that one, I think that's what they started with, the stone. So a shekel is wooden, it's not a stone. Do we have any? Yes?
I am called Major David Ogeng, Tesolan.
Tesolan?
Yes, sir.
What do they call it?
A cape.
A cape?
Yes, sir.
I can't audit that. I can't audit that man. So he can tell me any lie.
That one, it is a stone specifically picked by a woman, or even a youth, or even a man at home. You may have potatoes, sweet potatoes, or cassava. You put it on another big stone.
Okay.
And then use a smaller stone for crushing it.
Okay, that one, that's the
Yes,
idea.
sir. It's called a cape.
Although I don't know the name, but these Banyankara are really letting me down. Huh?
Your Excellency, I'm called Major James Viriavel Makejana. It is called Enkurungu.
Ah, that's now. This is Enkurungu. Enkurungu and the process. Because what Alan was saying, the mortar, a shekuru, with the omhini, that is okshekura. They use that to say the okshekura, that process. But this one, okay, the man, the former Mnyankwere, what is the process of crushing using the stone like that? Come and complete. The other one, the one who won.
Your Excellency, the process is called Okhonda.
Ah, this is the real Mnyankwere now. They're just town people. Okay, thank you. So that is you really need that department of yours and the schools need to trace that development of knowledge from the stone tools to the use of metal. Because by the time you talk of a shekuru, you are already having iron. You already have iron. And you could not have iron without fire. So many of these stone tools were invented before the invention of fire. And I think if you go on the internet, you'll find that man invented fire 1.5 million years ago. So man was here for 3 million years without fire. You can imagine. Using those stone tools. Now, when he invented fire, it created a new capacity. And that linkage between when he invented fire, he could now be able to cook. He didn't have to okumeketa eating raw food. He could warm himself. And that's why he was able to go from staying in trees, being a tree dweller, and he could stay in caves because he had fire to light the caves, to expel darkness from the caves. And eventually, he was able to make iron later on. The invention of iron was much later. I think it was invented between 5,000 and 3,000 BC, before Christ. And with iron, man became a bit more efficient because iron was a better tool. So therefore, in that long journey of man, you as social doctors, you will discover what is crucial in society. Like, for instance, the invention of fire, the invention of iron, the invention of gunpowder, the invention of the use of machines, the invention of the steam engine. You will discover that man, because of the other three qualities, the brain, the hand, the bipedalism, has been able to get more knowledge about nature. Because all those things are in nature, but people don't know how to get them. Fire was in nature, it was not from heaven, it was there. But they didn't know how to get it, how to make it. But with more knowledge, they get these new capacities. So therefore, the question to answer, you as social doctors, is to know that, oh, in the gun, the bullet, if you look at the bullet, when you fire a gun, there is what starts the process of firing. If you look at a bullet, you will see the projectile, the one which is the solid, and then the cartridge, the one which is stored in powder. The powder is called propellant. Now, in the bottom of the bullet, there is a detonator, a smaller explosive. The powder in the cartridge is a bigger explosive. It is called nitrocellulose. But there is this smaller powder in the bottom of the bullet. That is the detonator. But the detonator must be struck by the needle of the. If you take the breech block of the gun, you will see the needle there. That needle is the one which strikes the detonator, which explodes the bullet. Now that detonator, that needle is called a primer. A primer is the one which starts the whole process. So therefore, for you, if you really want to help your people, it is very crucial to know what is the primer of social change. What makes things happen in society? And that's why there has been a big crisis in Africa, because leaders didn't know this. Now, the primer of social change is development in science and technology. Once you get development in science and technology, then society changes. It must change. So when there was the invention of fire, society changed. For the worse, but also for the better, but also for the worse. Because the fire solves the problems, but it also creates them. So it depends on how you use it. when there is the invention of gunpowder was invented. It is good, but it is also dangerous. Or the invention, the steel. So therefore, when it comes to our people here, the question is, how can they change? If they continue with their old ways and you don't emphasize the development of science and technology, they will not change. They would believe in superstitions, witchcraft. Even the ones of religion, in a way, also cause a lot of confusion. These groups, religious groups, because they also preach a message of miracle wealth. That if you don't work, you just sit and you pray, you will be rich somehow. God will come and bring you wealth. The other day I was somewhere where they speak in Nyankore, and I was telling them, I said, Ukusugegansa is to make somebody do work which you should do yourself. God has already given us the brain, He's given us the three things. He has given us the brain, the bipedalism, and the hands. We should use them to solve the problems. That's what you need to know, but also convey to the others. So therefore, please, wherever you are, insist on the development of science and technology as the primer for social change. Know that very clearly, that if there is no development of science and technology, society will not change. Because when we invented cars, you see, like you see our Baganda people, how they greet when they are walking, when they are pedestrians. You meet somebody, the woman must kneel down. Oh, Sivyotiano, Mama, who knows how to greet? You come and help me see how the Chiganda way, the full Chiganda way, not abridged.
Your Excellency, I am Major Margaret Mirembe.
Margaret who?
Mirembe, sir.
Oyo Muganda oyo dara. Mirembe nabo we bali, I know.
Sir, I have grown up here in Buganda and I know how the Baganda greet.
Oh, you are just through naturalization.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you start the whole process, the full one. We don't want the abridged one.
For instance, suppose now Your Excellency has come.
Mm-hmm.
Tusanyisa okulaba ssebo, eradde ssebo, musula muti eyo ssebo, agaffe eyo ssebo, bali batya ssebo, nungi ssebo. Like that, Your Excellency.
No, but there are the others you have left out.
Your Excellency, I'm Major Frederick Tamale Rwanga. In our Chiganda way, we said Sansokula Basebo, Sansokula Banyabo, Eradde Mama, Eradde Tata, Buera, Nyoge.
Aha. Oh.
Yes, sir.
So you can, thank you. Sit down, sit down. Now you can see that way of greeting was evolved by a pedestrian society who were locomoting on foot. When you meet on the way or when you arrive at home. But now, there is technological change. You are in a car. How do you greet like that now? How do you greet like that in a car? You can't. The car has created a new situation. The only greeting is waving, and even if you pass one another in the traffic, you can't get out and start kneeling and greeting. You can say maybe, what is the car best greeting now? The officer who was here.
Your Excellency, the latest way of greeting is chikati.
Chikati?
Nkulabyao. Wajebaleko.
Okay.
One word.
Chiwede, the change in technology of society is changing the culture. Is changing the culture, is changing the way of the accommodation, is changing everything. You can imagine, I was born in Ntungamo. Ntungamo is 40 miles from Mbarara. But you would hear those fellows there, by the time you come back, it will be so long, like the one who goes to Mbarara and comes back. Because when they were walking on foot, going to Mbarara would take some time. But now in a car, Mbarara and Ntungamo is 30 minutes. So the technology is really the base of the change of society. So therefore you, as cadres, you ought to know and insist, wherever you are, the adoption of technology so that society changes. Don't accept to go on with the old ways when there are new ways. This is really basic when it comes to political education. Now, once you get that, once you know that the changer of society is man, and man uses tools, and tools are a product of science and technology, then things are easier for you. You can be able to guide people. And you will be able to fight superstition, because that superstition is based on inadequate knowledge of science and technology. Now, finally, once you have got that and you pass it on to those who are near you, the next question will be, what ideology do we give our society? The ideology of the NRM are the 4 principles which I heard you talking about here. Patriotism, Pan-Africanism, socio-economic transformation, which is in tandem with knowing that science is the base of change, and democracy. But those 4 principles are for a purpose. And the purposes are 3, essentially. Number 1 is prosperity. How can a society build prosperity? Once you already have the background of science and technology, but still you need a strategy which will use that science and technology to create prosperity. You need that strategy. You need principles. And that's why the NRM, after careful study, said no, principle number one is patriotism. Is patriotism. Why? And what does patriotism mean? I'm sure your lecturers have told you that the word padre is from, I think, Latin. It means father. So patriotism means the love of the fatherland. So we say, according to the NRM, in order to build prosperity, you must love Uganda. Why? What if I love my tribe and I love my religious group? The NRM says no. If you care more about your tribe and your religion, you are a danger to the prosperity of your people. Why? Because prosperity is based on production and sale of goods or services. This is where prosperity comes from. Sustainable prosperity. You cannot get sustainable prosperity from begging or from dependency. You can only get sustainable prosperity from production of goods and services. But when you produce goods and services, you must sell them. And I always like to quote the example of the Banyankore. Very good example. If you must sell what you produce, you go among the Banyankore, or any of the groups, you go to Acholi, you will find those groups are producing more or less the same products. This Munyankore is producing milk, the neighbor is producing milk. The neighbor cannot buy from him, he cannot buy from the neighbor. Why? Because they have got similar products. The same for beef, the same for bananas, like the other man of Bushenyi. They all produce bananas. This cannot buy from this one, this cannot buy from that one. So, if you produce and you don't sell, how will you get prosperity? Then the next question is, then who will buy the products of the Banyankore? You'll find most likely it will be other people in Uganda, the ones of Kampala, the ones who don't produce bananas, who don't produce milk, who don't produce beef, they're the ones who buy. So therefore, the prosperity of those Banyankore is supported by the people of Uganda. If you go to Namukora in Kitgum, I was there in Namukora. They all produce simsim. This Acholi produces simsim. This one produces simsim. So A cannot buy from B, B cannot buy from A. And who are the people who buy simsim? The people of Kampala here. So the prosperity of the Acholis in Namukora, in Orom, is Uganda. Uganda can guarantee our prosperity better than the tribes or the religious groups. So that's why we say, apart from knowing that the base of change in society is science and technology, then you add on now that prosperity can be better supported by a patriotic attitude of mind. where you love Uganda more than you love the tribe. The tribe is important, it's good for language, for culture, for customs, but Uganda is crucial for your prosperity. Now the second principle, Muganda wagambira, you know, Africans have got a lot of time. They are not in a hurry. So when we were still there, as if they were just doing nothing. When we were still there, now we find that if the Ugandans wake up, the Banyankwere wake up, the Achoris wake up, the Wasoga wake up, and they produce more, you'll soon find that even Uganda is not enough. The market of Uganda is not enough. This is the issue with the milk. Milk is so much milk now. The internal market of Uganda is not enough. Abasoga bavire mu Ndoro ne balima ebikaado Kamara. When the Basoga woke up, cultivated a lot of sugar cane. In no time, there's so much sugar that the internal market is not enough. Do you know Basoga? Do you know how Basoga look like? You people, have you ever seen any Musoga? Let's see if there's a Musoga here. Omusoga aliwa. Omusoga mulala. Senda banji. These people have never seen Basoga. You'll have to give me a gift for showing you how a Musoga looks like. Omusoga ono ali kuvawa?
Afande, I come from Iganga district.
Kuba olusoga ndwenda ino?
Baba nze nva Iganga mu isaza erya Kyabazinga eri ekigulu era nasimuka ewa Kawune e Bukooli.
Ate owa Kawune Bukooli?
Ensimuko yenva yene.
Yensimuko gye wasibuka?
Esebo.
Eno wasengayo?
Eno naida kunoonya mwogo.
Okay. Kati omuka barukukola ki? Barukukola ki omuka? Bakola ki ekireeta sente?
Abasinga tuli kulima bikaado.
Ebikaado.
Esebo.
Abazadde balima bikaado? Abazadde bo?
Tuli mu kulima amasamba ga bikaado ge tulina go afande.
Oh, very good. Kibumba ayebazibwe.
Wena abeniwe.
Thank you.
Welcome.
So now, when the Basoga woke up and produced more sugar cane, very soon we found the production of sugar now in Uganda is 600,000 tons. The production will go to 700,000 tons, and yet the consumption within Uganda is only 380,000 tons. So soon we shall be having a surplus of 320,000 tons. So now we have got surplus of sugar, surplus of maize, surplus of milk, surplus of industrial products, cement, mitayimbwa, katawo tukole tutya. That's why the NRM had foreseen this and said, you people, you should educate your people about the principle of Pan-Africanism. You need Pan-Africanism in order to have a market big enough to absorb the products so that you are prosperous. That's how the NRM insisted on the second principle of Pan-Africanism. It is not because we love one another, no, whether you like me or not, you need me. You need me for your own prosperity, for the prosperity of all our people. So that's the reason for the second principle of Pan-Africanism. And really the cadres should be very strict and educate people. When you hear these people who talk about tribes, religion, you should treat them as enemies, because they are enemies of our prosperity. You get a country like the United States, they are a great country because of big market. They've got a market of 300 and something million people. China has come up now. It's one of the big economies in the world because of the market. India is coming up. Latin America has got a lot of resources, a lot of forests, a lot of minerals, a lot of petroleum, but because they are fragmented politically, you see how they are suffering in South America. They are always walking on foot to go to the USA, blocked on the border. The main problem is that they have all the resources, but politically they are disorganized. They are fragmented. Honduras, small country like this, Nicaragua, El Salvador, Costa Rica, I don't know what, all those little things. With people who call themselves president of poverty. Yeah. Just there, lack of vision. That's why we NRM told you people long ago, your parents, that you people, if you don't want to be like Latin America, please, patriotism within Uganda, Pan-Africanism within Africa. You need it for your prosperity. Then the third principle, socio-economic transformation, is connected with the other knowledge of primer of society, because the primer of society is science and technology. You cannot continue with an old society, with old beliefs of superstition. Like, for instance, one time I was walking in Ruel there, I found one of our chairmen, Chairman Konia of Nakaziba. I found him with a swollen leg. Swollen leg, he was putting it on a chair. Hey, Konia, Obadechi, Ntibandoze. A tallow that somebody has bewitched them with a witchcraft called a tallow. Who can tell us what a tallow is? What is the belief among our people in Uganda about a tallow?
Your Excellency, a tallow, mu Buganda obaka ebitu by'obuuka n'obibuuka omala bibuuka then awo notandikirawo okulwala oba ekigere oba ekifuba naye nga kiteeberezebwa nti banno ebakoze ebya African
abakuteza eki
ebiddagala baloga ebikola ng'amanyi nti bijja kunafuya omubiri gwo ssebo.
Baloga ki?
Baloga lisinga kukwata amagulu gano neza nokukwata ne mu kifuba.
Bateekako ki mu kkubo, bateekamu ki? Ebiddagala abo baki?
Ebiddagala bagatta ebintu bingi, Your Excellency, bagatta ebintu bingi ng'amanyi bigenda kusiraanya oleme kukulaakulana ssebo.
Oh.
Yes, sir.
Do you have a doctor here? Who is a doctor? Tell us about cellulitis.
Sir, it is an infection that causes inflammation of the cells.
Only on the foot or anywhere else?
It is anywhere in the body, but majorly, usually it has where it enters the body, and that's where it starts from.
And that's why it is it in the soil or what? Why does it attack foot mainly?
Because the foot is generally exposed, and therefore it is the main source.
The main entry point.
The main entry point.
But it is treatable.
Yes, very much, sir. With our antibiotics, sir.
Very good. So that's why we want to work very hard to change through knowledge the attitudes of our people. Banyankore in the past used to okumeketa amata, to drink unboiled milk straight from the cow. Do the Karamojong still do that? Do you have a Karamojong here? A Karamojong? You see how Karamojong look like?
Yes.
Mata.
Mata, Papa.
Mata Karamojong.
Mata.
Oh, Alakara. Where are you from?
Your Excellency, I'm called SP Local President. I'm from Nabilatuk.
Nabilatuk?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Do the Karamojong still drink milk without boiling it?
Yes.
Straight from the out of the cow?
Yes, sir.
They put it in you tell us how they milk now.
When they milk, they tie the legs of the cow. After tying the legs of the cow, when they are milking, they tie the behind legs of the cow. So after tying the behind legs of the cow,
yes,
they put the milk on the jug. When they are ready, when the milk gets over from the cow, then they take inside the house. Then from the house, where they can give to any child or any person who is very near.
To drink straight?
Yeah, to drink straight.
Thank you. Alakara.
Alakara.
Now, that's how the Banyankore were behaving. Until, initially actually it was the Barokore, the church group, which started telling us that drinking unboiled milk is of kafiri, because in the milk there were some organisms which we could not see with our eyes, but which could cause diseases. Diseases like worms, like, doctor, you come and tell us the diseases which can come from drinking milk without boiling it.
Thank you, Your Excellency. We have TB as number one.
We have worms, as you said, depending, the flukes and other worms. We also have brucella. We have generally all other diseases, bacterial infections that may come through the unboiled, like milking, especially mastitis, especially when the cow has those infections in the teats. It can
Mastitis can attack a person.
No, I mean there are bacteria that cause mastitis, can also equally cause infection in the upper respiratory tract.
Of a human being?
Yes, sir.
So you can hear all those are problems from what you think is a good food, from milk. You get TB, you get worms, you get brucellosis. They are now talking of mastitis of mare, Banyangore call it of mare, can also affect human beings in a certain way, and all of that. So that's why we say, if you want to be prosperous, number one, love Uganda. Number two, love Africa. But number three, you must change. You must become a modern person based on science, covering all those areas. If it is food, this is what you do. If it is shelter, this is what you do. If it is transport, this is what you do. If it is health, this is what you do. So you cannot be, because even if we unite Uganda, even if we unite Africa, but you don't change, the society does not change, then they will not take advantage of the other two. You must become modern people. You must become modern people. Go from the way based on no science to a way of life based on science. And then finally, democracy. Democracy is simple, everybody talks about it. These are the 4 principles. So therefore, many years ago when we had just come from the bush, I saw the dangers which were coming because people were getting lost, getting corrupt. Because they're like getting corrupt, is because people don't know where wealth comes from. They think we can get wealth by selling fuel of the army, by selling ration, by not being loyal to the logistics of the army, stealing money, without knowing that in order to be prosperous, you need a strong army to guard peace. And once you guard peace, then you work in the manner we have described, because we know the factors that go into work and what will bring prosperity, like we have just said. Of course, there are other details of economics, how to do the calculation of wealth creation and so on. That's another topic. But it needs the roof of these 4 principles. So ideology helps you to know what to do, to be relaxed, not to make shortcuts, because people who make shortcuts are people who don't know the story of transformation. There were, for instance, societies, like the Western societies, which depended on slavery. But slavery was not necessary. they could have developed without exploiting slaves. Those shortcuts, like for instance, when Gutenberg invented the printing press in Germany, there were no slaves, 1400 something. And when you see people fighting wars like these ones in Ukraine, just ideological bankruptcy. What are you fighting for? You can be prosperous without cheating anybody. Like the Chinese. Chinese have come up. They are now the second richest country in the world. They are about to overtake the United States, but they have not colonized anybody. They have just developed by themselves and cooperating in business with others on equal basis. So ideology is very crucial. And that's why I'm glad that you spend time and you go for these courses. Now, I have had your memorandum of Oliver Tambo, how you need dormitories, and it's not very expensive. You can do it in phases of even 1 billion per year. That's good. I will take it up.